you go in life, no matter where you go, okay? The moment you step out your door, make sure you have your license in your pocket, because you never know when you're going to run into the police. I respect the police. I have no problems with them. And I show them respect each and every time I interact with police. So I never had problems with them. I've never had problems with police in my whole entire life. Okay? And you could be the same way. But step number one starts with having your driver's license in your pocket at all times, the moment you step outside. Because if you're about to go outside and you notice you don't have your license, you don't remember where you put it, guess what? You're going to have to tear your whole entire room apart until you find it. I'm sorry, but you got to do that. You have to have your driver's license at all times. Okay? Because as much as I respect and appreciate the police, I already know that not all police is going to be kind and gentle and friendly. Not all of them. Because some of them could be a very small, minute number. Could even be 1%. I don't know. But for whatever reason, you may accidentally run into the wrong one who ain't gonna be playing no games at all. So you have to have your driver's license the moment you step out those doors. That's the best advice I can give. Always, always have your driver's license on your person the moment you step out those doors, because you don't want no problems with the police. You don't want no mistaken identity. You don't want no problems. And make sure your driver's license is always up to date, not expired. I'm just giving the best advice I can when it comes to your driver's license and how to deal with the police. Okay? Be kind to them. Be respectful to them. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Show your license when they ask to see it. Things should go good for you. Really, it should. How to conduct yourself when the police stop you on the side of the road at some traffic stop. How should you conduct yourself? Well, first of all, you must comply. You must comply with the officer. None of that arguing with the officer. If you want to call it being submissive, go right ahead. Use whatever term you want to use. But I know a lot of people in the community don't agree with complying. Simply complying with the police officer. You see, I come from a police family. You know, multiple people in my family were police officers. So I could understand how difficult their job can be. But what I would say is, if you want to make it past that interaction safe and sound, alive and well, happy, healthy, and all put together and sound, then you better comply with the police when they pull you over for anything. You know, a good attitude goes a long way. Yes, it does. I don't care what anybody say. An officer pull you over and ask to see your license, you should have a license on you. The fact that some people don't have a driver's license on them, but they're driving the car, makes me think that there's a mental health problem in that situation. In that particular situation. it just leads me to believe that, even though I know I could be wrong in that, maybe that person is just defiant and doesn't care about the law. Maybe that person is sneaky and think they can drive from point A to point B without getting pulled over. People in our community, and not just our community, but people all across the board feel like they could commit a crime real fast, real quick, and not get noticed. You know, I keep saying in these videos, there are cameras everywhere. We are always being watched. When you leave your house, you should have your driver's license if you're going to hop in the car. Now, let's move on to the next part. If you don't have your license and they ask you to step out of the car, you should do it. You should do it. The fact that people argue with the police because they simply want you to step out of the car, because they may suspect that you were smoking, or maybe you were drinking in their mind. They need to make sure that's not the case. So arguing about stepping out of the car is a joke. Arguing about stepping out of the car, to me, is idiotic. People do it all the time. I'm not stepping out of the car. Why I gotta step out of the car? You don't have a license. You're not supposed to be driving without a license. And these people don't even have driver's permit. And if you have a driver's permit, you should have someone in the car with you who is over 21 years old, and that person should have a driver's license, even though you have a driver's permit. Didn't you learn that when you were going for your permit? Did you read the whole entire book? A lot of people, I don't know what's going on up here. I really don't. They always want to give the cops a hard time. And then they wonder why the police and the community are butting heads constantly. Could it be because there is no fathers in the home? Not all situations. In a lot of situations, okay, the father's there in the home. I'm being very kind when I say this, because I said in a lot of cases. In my hardcore opinion, I think most cases the father isn't in the home. He doesn't live there. It's a broken family scenario. Nonetheless, a lot of these people just don't comprehend the idea that you have to comply with the police. When they ask you questions, you should always tell the truth. Now, people may look at that as, oh, well, I ain't got to tell them nothing. Yes, in a lot of situations, you don't really have to say anything. You can just ask for a lawyer. But at that point, now you're going to be detained, and now you're going to go down to the station because you wanted your lawyer, right? So, and you didn't want to talk. So they don't have a choice now. They're not just going to let you go on your way because you don't want to talk. Now they're going to take the next step. But if you feel like you didn't do anything wrong, then answer their questions. But my point is, if you're going to talk, if you're going to answer the police, make sure you're telling the truth, because once you lie, that's another charge. So don't lie. And then having a nasty attitude. I've seen a lot of people have filthy attitude towards these police officers when the police is just trying to do their job. Now, granted, we do have some evil cops out there. Trust me, I already know that. We got some evil police officers who may not like you just based on how you look for some reason. They may want to treat you disrespectfully. There's always going to be bad apples in the bunch when it comes to anything. Okay? When it comes to anything, you're going to have bad apples. But I actually don't have a problem with the police because I know they're necessary. You may say they're a necessary evil. Okay, well, that may very well be true that they are a necessary evil, but like I said, they are needed. Without law enforcement, we live in mayhem. Without police, without law enforcement, without a military, we might as well live in anarchy. We will be living in anarchy. And some people may say, well, we already live in anarchy. That's true. I think it's because the police don't have enough power. But you know, that's always going to be a big argument, especially within the community. A community that, you know, for the most part, and I'm not talking about all, but for the most part, they have some issue with law enforcement. They don't really get along with the police. They don't want to see them anywhere. They just don't like them. They just don't like them. Listen, the message that I'm trying to convey in this video is not for you all to kiss the police butt and love them and just worship them. I'm not saying do that. What I'm saying is when they confront you for anything, when they approach you, the knowledgeable thing to do would be to comply with them. Just make it easy. Make it be an easy interaction for them, okay? You should do that because that will determine whether or not you're going to be arrested or they're going to let you go. You know, like I said, a good attitude goes a long way. Do you not understand how much a good attitude goes? A good attitude, even at your job, go a long way. Somebody could be having a nasty day and they come into your establishment and start taking it out on you just because they had a hard day. They're pissed off. But if you have a nice, calm voice, a nice, cool, collective demeanor, that's going to calm that person right on down because they know it's not getting to you. And you're being extremely calm with them. That soothes their spirit. And if you're polite, calm, the transaction is going to go smooth for you. At the end of that transaction, that person may very well apologize. They may very well give you a tip. Listen, a lot of good things come behind complying and having a nice, easygoing attitude. So, one more time to reiterate what I'm saying. When the police approach you for anything, comply with them. The only reason why I would think a person wouldn't comply is if they're guilty of something. They're guilty. They may have warrants. For some reason, they're just doing something wrong. They don't want to comply with the police. That's the only thing I can think of at this moment. But you want to comply with them because that's going to make them be less likely to give you a hard time. And they'll be more likely to want to work with you, you know, in that situation, whatever the reason they put you over for. Before you leave your house, make sure you always have your license in your pocket. They may want to identify you because you look familiar. You look like someone. So they may be like, well, you know what? We don't know who you are, but you do resemble someone who did something. So we just need to know who you are. Because if you don't have your license, now you're putting yourself in some trouble where you may have to go down to the station and get fingerprinted. Having your license on you alleviates a whole lot of issues. That really do. And if you are someone from my community, you should always have your license the second you step out of your house. You should always have your driver's license. Ladies, you too. We know the men, they definitely need their driver's license in their pocket before they leave the house. But I'm giving this advice to you too, ladies, because you never know what can happen. And like I said, You, the viewers, some of you, may not like the police. You may come from a family that have a long history of having negative experience with the police. But if you yourself, as just your own individual, I'm not talking about your family, if you comply with the police, I guarantee you know, your family will be surprised that you have no issues with that. And I'm telling you, your experience with the police is going to be the total polar opposite from your family. You will realize, like, you know what? These people are just human too. The police are human as well, just like you are. They have a job to do. You know, they're just trying to figure out things. You know, do you have your license? Who are you? Are you who you say you are? You know, and if you are, then okay, you're not the one we're looking for. Thank you for your help participating with us. You know, we're just looking for someone who looked like you. Or you were speeding down the road. We need you to step out of the car so we can give you a breath analyzer to make sure whether or not you're not drunk. Don't say, I ain't gotta step out of the car. I don't want, because now you're just putting yourself more in the hole. And the thing you should want at the end of the day is to go home safe and sound, alive and well, happy, healthy, all put together and sound. This is Amin Parker. And that's it for this video. Until next time.